One greetings from the high tent. It's Everyday Shenanigans, bringing you back-to-back content pertaining to Leilani Simon and this debacle that is going on down in Savannah pertaining to her son, Quentin Simon, 20 months old, deemed deceased and discarded in a dumpster, later taken to a landfill. I bring this information pertaining to Diana Mccarta because she has played a very important role in this storyline if we are to believe that she is telling the truth about her involvement with this family and the children. Court TV has done an episode pertaining to the child's search, and it was uploaded 18 hours ago, and I played content from that segment on my live last night. I've been searching for the content. It was there all along, but it was just hard trying to go through all the videos because I've been going through articles, different things, trying to find it. It was in Court TV all along, but I've gotten a bit sidetracked because I'm going through too many stories, trying to pull up different content to verify certain things. I've brought you information of dumpsters. I've also do believe the dumpster in the front that belongs to the store is the dumpster where he was dumped, because I found an article or a snapshot today of a news story that was done, and right in a picture, it shows a fence, a blue dumpster, looks like some moss hanging in the background. Naturally, we don't know the date of the picture that I got from Google, but it looks like the same dumpster that sits in the front of the entryway into the Azalea Mobile Park in Savannah, Georgia, 4711 Ogeechee Road. Just want to throw that out there. Somebody else asked a question about Leilani and the mother living in a trailer where the thefts took place. That was in North Carolina. It's in the Daily Mail article where Bubba is speaking about his involvement with her, blah, blah, blah. Because I don't know of any Waynesboro in Georgia. As far as I know, Waynesboro is in North Carolina. So that's where they were living, in a mobile park at one time, North Carolina. Back to my story. If you're to believe Diana Mccarta, one would wonder, you're the same person that went to Facebook with information about what happened on that fateful morning 3 weeks ago today, because today is Wednesday. 3 weeks ago today, you allegedly get a text from somebody from that house. I'm not even about to go on and verify who said what, because you're never going to know the truth. And that's the one thing I tell people about these types of stories. You can't decide who said what, because nobody's going to ever own anything. Allegedly, a text came from Danny's phone. 9 o'clock, a call came from Danny's phone with Leilani being the caller, asking had she seen the child. The text before at 5:29 is saying the children weren't coming. But yet, Michael goes to YouTube and gives a different version that when Leilani woke up, she was shocked to see the children. So which is the truth? Ms. Mccarta, I'm curious to why you did not want to give a news interview. You say you fear for your safety. Why is that? You went to Facebook to put this story out there because, as I told people, Leilani and BJ would have never let you know who the babysitter was. They've been not so forthcoming up until Monday. It's 2 days later. Why now? Because you all have been stalking them, following them around, bringing forth information of them coming and going out of their house, following them to Tybee Island, where they was at the hotel, restaurant. Bill racked up to $300. Don't know exactly who spent what. Doesn't really matter. Having a good time. Eyewitness saying they were having a good time, laughing, didn't seem to care, couldn't tell that there was a baby missing. Drinks, shots, tequila shots. Seemed like it was done on purpose to draw attention. Entitled to your opinion. But nonetheless, Ms. Mccarta, you're the first to come forward with the information about these people and the baby and your involvement on that day and beforehand. So I'd like to know why you didn't want to talk to the news. Why now? You saying you're worried about your safety. Well, one would say you wasn't concerned about your safety beforehand because you went to Facebook. And as I said, these two were never going to tell who Miss Mccarta was because they were never going to tell the truth about anything. If you lie about a baby, kill a baby, you're not going to tell somebody who the babysitter is. She's null and void. And I do believe Leilani is the type that will throw anybody under the bus, be it Danny, Bubba, the other baby daddy, Cody, her mama, sister, brother, cousin. That's just who she is because she's a junkie. She's an addict. And this is the behavior of addicts. They'll do anything to survive, to sustain. It's just the way it is. Court TV is the source.
Any updates coming out of that search?
Now, I also understand that you had an opportunity to speak with Quentin's babysitter. What did you find out?
She is the woman who kept him the day before he went missing. And she didn't want to go on camera because she said it's actually been difficult for her safety-wise as far as needing to take those precautions because of the intense scrutiny that surrounded this case. But she did talk to me off camera, and she said that she actually received a text the morning of the disappearance, that she was scheduled to babysit the baby, but that she received a text and she showed it to me that she said was from Leilani Simon at 5:29 a.m. And it said that they had made other arrangements when it comes to babysitting. They would not need her, and she would be staying with her parents instead. So she typically would have him between 5:30 and 6, she said, in the morning is when they would bring her over. She also mentioned that she was out on her front yard between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. She didn't notice him anywhere. She said he's a little boy that she's been keeping for 6 months. That she
Let's go back there. It sounds like she's saying her. Listen again.
Needing to take those precautions because of the intense scrutiny that surrounded this case. But she did talk to me off camera, and she said that she actually received a text the morning of the disappearance, that she was scheduled to babysit the baby, but that she received a text and she showed it to me that she said was from Leilani Simon at 5:29 a.m. And it said that they had made other arrangements when it comes to babysitting. They would not need her, and she would be staying with her parents instead. So she typically would have him between 5:30 and 6, she said.
So she said she. Maybe she did not mean to say she, but she did just now say she. We do know she did have a baby girl. So is this reporter misidentifying the baby Quentin as a girl because she did just say she would not be coming? I'm confused at all of this. I just want to make sure I'm playing it so you hear it for yourself.
In the morning is when they would bring her over. Extensive training because of how dangerous a search like this.
You hear her say bring her over.
When it comes to babysitting, they would not need her, and she would be staying with her parents instead. So she typically would have him between 5:30.
She would be staying, but then says him. Which is it? Is it a boy or a girl? Is the child a boy or a girl? Or is this just the reporter misidentifying? Which, you know, people do make mistakes when they're spinning a story. But I want you all to hear this because it's going from a she to a he in this commentary. One more time.
30 and 6, she said, in the appearance, that she was scheduled the disappearance of Quentin Simon.
And you had an opportunity to speak.
Appearance, that she was scheduled to babysit the needing to take those precautions because of the intense scrutiny that surrounded this case. But she did talk to me off camera, and she said that she actually received a text the morning of the disappearance, that she was scheduled to babysit the baby, but that she received a text and she showed it to me that she said was from Leilani Simon at 5:29 a.m. And it said that they had made other arrangements when it comes to babysitting. They would not need her, and she would be staying with her parents instead. So she typically would have him between 5:30.
She would be staying with her parents.
In the morning is when they would bring her over. She also mentioned,
but I got him in the morning.
Her front yard between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. She didn't notice him anywhere. She said he's a little boy that she's been keeping for 6 months. That she loves him and is heartbroken that is needing to take those precautions because of the intense scrutiny that surrounded this case. But she did talk to me off camera, and she said that she actually received a text the morning of the disappearance, that she was scheduled to babysit the baby, but that she received a text and she showed it to me that she said was from Leilani Simon at 5:29 a.m. And it said that they had made other arrangements when it comes to babysitting. They would not need her, and she would be staying with her parents instead. So she typically would have him between 5:30 and 6, she said, in the morning is when they would bring her over. She also mentioned that she was out on her front yard between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. She didn't notice him anywhere. She said he's a little boy that she's been keeping for 6 months, that she loves him and is heartbroken that he can't be found. But she said she was involved in the search. I asked her if she ever noticed anything odd, anything that may point to a sign that there was any kind of trouble. And she couldn't point to anything specific outside of, she said, maybe a couple bruises, but she said he's also a toddler who often fell down when he was running very fast. So nothing that seemed off to the point that he would disappear. But she did say that there are some neighbors who say that sometimes they notice them walking around. This is the toddler and his older brother sometimes walking around without supervision, and then they would contact Leilani about it. So many questions still unanswered tonight, but that is what investigators, that's what the FBI is getting to the bottom of. I know we have some sound from a press conference that was given by Chief Jeff Hadley from the Chatham County Police Department. Let's take a listen to that as it relates to this case.
I'm going to stop there. First calling the baby a she, then saying she, Miss Mccarta, would normally get him, calling him a him. So I don't know if this is just a reporter misidentifying the child while reading the script or just ad-libbing. Still odd to me. Miss Mccarta said she was out on the front lawn 7 or 8. Never heard that before until this court TV off-camera interview. So do you normally go outside at 7 or 8 in the morning? One would probably say no, because beforehand you would have the children. So we wouldn't expect you to be out on the lawn at 7 or 8. So what made you go outside at 7 or 8, Miss Mccarta? Because you didn't get the call until after 9 that the baby was missing. Via a phone call from Danny's phone by way of Leilani's voice on the phone. So all this is weird. Not pointing any fingers at Miss Mccarta, but I'm just saying I find it strange. She's now not wanting to talk on camera when she ran to Facebook to talk. You can't get any more live than that. And then naturally, social media platforms from YouTube saw that and ran with the story. That's normal because a lot of people use Facebook as their information source to bring information if they get wind of a he said, she said, whatever. So Miss Mccarta, you had to want it to be immersed in the story. When you went to Facebook, you wanted to let people know who you were. You were the babysitter, what you noticed with these people, their past, blah, blah, blah. You told all that. So one is going to wonder why now you don't want to be on camera. You made mention to this lady that you obviously fear for your safety or have safety concerns. Well, one would say, why now? But this is what I have been trying to relay to the viewing audience weeks ago. You should fear for your safety because if indeed this bitch killed her kid, you were dealing with them. The grandmother's come in your house and ran in your house, cussing you out. Luckily, she didn't put her hands on you. But we did get to see footage of whoever was filming in your yard. She was rambling with them like trying to take the camera out the hand. I finally got to see that today in another clip of them filming her outside screaming. Because first we just see her inside. Now, clips of her outside hollering, screaming. You're standing in the doorway. She's reaching for whomever had the phone. You said that was your daughter. So that is visible. And finally, I get to see that on camera. So it shows you she doesn't care about wrangling with a child. She doesn't care about rambling, running up in somebody's house, cursing them out, accusing them of having a kid. You try to make a memorial, whatever. She's off the hook too. Violent too. I'll say she's violent because Leilani said she put her hands on her. And I won't doubt that BJ did put her hands on her a while ago when they got into an altercation about the washing machine, clothes piled up, whatever their issues were. But why now you don't want to be seen? I'm curious. I have a right to ask. Why not ask? Because you've come forward and immersed yourself in this case. You've done a few lives from your kitchen, cooking, eating, talking about this. Then you tell people don't message you in inbox to talk about the story, but yet then you invite people to talk to you. You keep going on and on about, I can't get back to all the messages. Forgive me if I can't get to all the messages. So I don't really know what message you're trying to send. Many people may say, well, you're a cynic. No, not always cynical. I'm digesting what's being said. See, there's a difference. Because see, everything's about perception. Your perception is she's a great gal, some of you. Oh, she's great, she took care of the kids, blah, blah, blah. But in the beginning, she saw signs that the girl didn't really care about her kids because she came to her without appropriate clothing, diapers, formula. So you got a glimpse of her day 1, day 2, whatever day it fell on, that she didn't come correct with things for the children. But you continue to deal with her anyway. You text this lady back and forth, BJ, about her daughter. Bruises, this, that, concerns. See, the signs were always there. You just continue to ride the ride. And now, baby goes missing 3 weeks today. You get a text, you get a phone call. We now get information that you were on the lawn between 7 and 8, doing what? I do not know. Maybe you were being curious. Were you looking over there at the house just curious to why the kids weren't coming? This is the queen. I ask all questions. Because once you give the information, I have every right to ask. Why were you on the lawn between 7 and 8? Smoking a cigarette? Do you smoke? You just wanted some fresh air? Or were you curious to what the fuck was going on over there at that house? So you decided, let me go outside since they're not bringing the kids, plural. What's really going on? Because I normally keep the kids no matter what. I keep the kids even when she doesn't go to work. And I'm often wondering, how many times did she go to work? That was never mentioned to my recollection. So were you on the lawn between 7 and 8 curious about that house and why those kids were not coming? And you tell this reporter, I didn't see anything. I want y'all to think about that comment. I didn't see anything. Do I need to replay that? Notice anything out of the norm? Let's go back.
Chief Jack. She didn't notice him anywhere. She said he's a little boy that she's been keeping for 6 months, that she loves him and is heartbroken that she said it's actually been difficult for her safety-wise as far as needing to take those precautions because of the intense scrutiny that surrounded this case. But she did talk to me off camera, and she said that she actually received a text the morning of the disappearance, that she was scheduled to babysit the baby, but that she received a text and she showed it to me that she said was from Leilani Simon at 5:29 a.m. And it said that they had made other arrangements when it comes to babysitting. They would not need her, and she would be staying with her parents instead. So she typically would have him between 5:30 and 6, she said, in the morning is when they would bring her over. She also mentioned that she was out on her front yard between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. She didn't notice him anywhere. She said he's a little boy that she's been keeping for 6 months, that she loves him and is heartbroken that he can't be found.
So let's think about that for just a second. 7 to 8 a.m., you didn't know he was missing. So is she just recollecting in her mind, hey, let me backtrack. I was out at 7 to 8. I didn't notice anything. I didn't notice a child wandering. But naturally, she didn't get the call until after 9. So perhaps what she's doing is backtracking her thoughts to this reporter. Hey, I was outside 7 to 8. Didn't see a kid walking around, didn't see anything going on. Is this what she's alluding to? Chop it up how you see fit. She's backtracking her thoughts. Oh, they called me at 9 saying the child's missing, but I do remember being out 7 to 8. Didn't see anything suspicious. And it's amazing how you can get yourself involved with people and never really think that something can go bump in the night in dealing with them. That you'll be immersed in a true crime story by befriending a person, dating a person, being married to a person, being related to a person, working with a person, being their neighbor. Maybe you pass them a couple times at the grocery store. You watch the news and you'd be like, oh, I know that guy. I know of him. I saw him a couple times at the 7-Eleven. Oh, he's missing. He's dead. He killed somebody. Isn't it amazing how that happens? How small the world is. As they say, 6 degrees of separation. Very interesting. Miss Mccarta, I just want to know why you didn't want to be on camera. I'm just curious. Because you've come this far on the journey, why back out now? You could have went to the news station and done it. If you didn't want the van to be seen at your house, I get that. You didn't want to draw attention to the news van being at your home. So you could have went to the news station. They could have put you in silhouette. They could have just shown your hands, legs, feet, as we've seen in many news interviews where they pan the camera down to the ground. Could have shown the back of your hair. You understand what I'm saying. But one is going to wonder, anybody that's curious, as the queen is, why you would not want to do an on-camera interview. Because everybody knows your name. Because you put yourself out there. So now to say you worried about your safety or concerned about your safety or have safety concerns is a bit baffling to me. Because I already said this in the beginning before everything escalated with Tybee Island and protesters. Before all that happened, before there was a memorial, teddy bears, toys, Tybee Island, YouTubers on the ground, before all of that, I said in the beginning, sometimes it's best to be quiet. Sometimes it's best not to let people know you know anything. You dealt with these people because things may not turn out the way you anticipate. And if you are in this for the wrong reasons, it can backfire by opening your mouth and spinning a web about these people. And we all see that these people are drug addicts, thievery, different men, different women, different husbands, different wives, moving from place to place, cocaine charges, just everything you can think of negative. Prostitution, larceny. I mean, the list doesn't stop between the entire fucking family. Brother, sister, cousin, mama, daddy. Daddy messed up. Son in jail for murder, prison. Using a brother to go to YouTube. Then the sister just pops up out of the hat on Monday. It's like non-stop drama. But this is what you get with street people. I keep telling you all this. So long as you deal with street people, this is what you're going to get. And Miss Mccarta was dealing with street people. And at some point, she heard rumors about Leilani. She heard rumors about Billy Joe, but she dealt with them anyway. And maybe she didn't feel like their personal decisions in life or habits would affect her, but I don't see how you could think it wouldn't, because they were the custodians and the parents of the children and in their peripheral. And they did show you signs they didn't give a fuck. You saw the signs. You also say you did call DHS. You did give concerns to Billy Joe. Did you actually tell Billy Joe what you thought was going on with the children as far as being abused and not getting the proper care? Did you also call DHS in the 6 to 10 months you kept the children? Because there are two different articles that state two different times that you kept the kids. 6 months, 10 months. What is the truth? Is there verification that you called DHS? Well, the Queen is going to ting, 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 bring up an article. That's why it took me so long to go live, because I want to make sure I verified anything. Ask not to hear any damn complaints and say I said something that was misquoted, not correct. I wanted to make sure I was going to repeat everything correctly. One second. Okay. I got to find this content because I've been uploading stuff. Pertaining to this, as to keep a record of everything that I'm finding. I don't think this is the article. One second. Got so many. You say you did call DHS at some point. I think this is by the Independent UK. Hold on one second. I want to make sure I'm bringing. This is giving a detailed account of what has gone on with the case.
The antioxidant goodness in every bottle of...
Sorry about that. These when they play the commercials in these videos, in these articles. One second. Want to make sure I pull this information up, repeat it verbatim. Miss Mccarta, who told WSAV she babysits the two children. Now you see, it says 2, not 3. This is why I said there's always a difference in the information in the articles. That's why I don't like when people like to argue about who said what and what you heard. Because each piece of information is not the same as this news, and whatever the hell you're hearing from BJ. To this day, you've not heard Leilani tell you nothing about 3 weeks ago today, for the record. You only heard it via BJ, via social media, which to me doesn't count. And even the blonde-haired lady who was reporting her story that she talked to her about that morning, she never put that in the interview. Let's say that for the record. Why not? There was never a timeline mentioned in that news interview with the blonde-haired young lady. Although the blonde lady said she talked to her about that, she also mentioned that she talked to her about her status as a suspect. That was never mentioned during the few-minute clip of people standing outside the house, her version of being harassed. Basically, that interview was about her being harassed. I want to keep everybody abreast of everything that's being said. Ms. Mccarta told WSAV she babysits the two children, said in an interview on October 11th that she had previously reported the family to Georgia's Department of Families and Children's Services, DFCS, and I guess they call it DFACS, with concerns, but this was unconfirmed. If you need verification for what I just read, the independent.co.uk is the source. And the title of the headline says, Quentin Simon, what we know about search for missing toddler, feared dead in Georgia, uploaded 1 day ago. Here in this article, she tells you she kept 2 children and called on them the family, plural. about whatever. Doesn't even specify in this article what the specifics were. Okay? She called. But it has been unconfirmed. And naturally, DHS is not going to tell you anything about what has happened with someone calling. The department told the Independent, DHS, DFCS is bound by both state and federal law to protect the privacy of the people we serve. As such, we are unable to comment on the specifics of any reported abuse or neglect cases, nor confirm or deny the existence of any abuse or neglect records. It continued, we take seriously every report that might be made to the department and work with law enforcement when appropriate to ensure the safety of Georgia's children. At least one Facebook post from Ms. Howell, which was seen by Fox News last week, meanwhile referred to the coming calm after a storm. Local reports said it remains unclear what the message behind the reshared post was, in light of an expected update from police on the evidence found. You heard it there live. Independent UK is the source. DHS is not confirming or denying any reports made by anybody in the state of Georgia on any case, and that's including Ms. Mccarta saying she did call. Ms. Mccarta, when did you call? What did you say? Who did you speak to? Because naturally, we know you can't give a name. Do you remember? Or did you ever call? Because in the beginning of all this, some of us couldn't remember the wording exactly about you calling. Because 1 minute it was, I voiced my concerns with BJ. That was during a live Facebook. And you had a chat below. So obviously somebody asked you in the chat, did you ever call DFAX? Your answer was, I voiced my concerns with Billy Joe. It was only later we hear in another Facebook Live, if I'm not mistaken, that you called. So you said. So what I'd like to know is, what is the truth? Did you call him or you didn't call? And I'm also wondering what happened if you did call. Did they follow up? Did they go knock on their door? Did they investigate? Because some of us are leery to any involvement with DHS only because we have one dead and two are now in foster care. And the fact that BJ got custody of allegedly 2 boys, which is one dead and one, once again, in foster care. Why not baby Sky? Why was she not on the documents? And I read you those documents last week. If you need verification, please check back to previous videos. And it is an illegal document. When she decided to take Leilani and the boyfriend to court, Sky was removed as one of the children she was suing for child support. And it shows you the verification of paternity in those documents, because I read them to you. So why not have custody of all 3? Because she was an addict and a misfit irregardless. Is it because that baby daddy was in the picture and staying in the house with them? Why that baby wasn't in the custody fold with the other 2 boys? I'm confused. The fact that each of these boys had fathers who have now spoken with news outlets, I find that strange. But yet Bubba tells us, hey, she walked off. I ain't seen her, ain't seen the kids. But yet you knew how to find the house when the FBI came looking to ask you of your whereabouts of that Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. All of this story is strange, but maybe not so strange. Just typical street people who all intertwine with each other at some point and one of them killed a kid. And it's only strange because you don't know the manner of death and if the child is in the landfill, so some of you say. But I have been given information by a source that he is in the landfill and he was discarded in a dumpster. And I also showed you the map of the Azalea Mobile Park where he is believed to have been dumped. And it shows you different dumpsters on the property as you go further down the road. But the key clincher of this map is the first dumpster, which belongs to the store. I just saw a picture where the news shows a caption of a blue dumpster right encased in a fence, just like the one I showed you on the map today. How ironic. And what I found interesting about that clip from the news is why didn't they broaden the picture to show you the entire scene of where the dumpster was, or let's say is? Is it because the news did not want to let you know this is where they were led to believe the child was dumped? So we're not going to show you the full circumference of the picture, the location, because it is an ongoing investigation. But eerily, when I saw that picture today in a news clip, it looks similar to the picture on the map of the store next to Azalea Mobile Home Plaza. Damn near identical. And that's why I went back in to zoom into my pictures on Google Maps. And that dumpster sits inside of a fence, just like the news caption picture. That dumpster was sitting inside of a fence. And I'm telling you, the background was of a white siding building, just identical to the picture on Google Maps of the store next to the entry drive of Azalea Mobile Home Plaza. What are the odds? What are the odds that both pictures are eerily similar? Both dumpsters encased in a fence with a white building in the background with white siding and moss hanging from the fence, such as looks like the same brown moss hanging from the back of the white building in the back of the dumpster. Go figure. Miss Mccarta, I'm not saying you have anything to do with the disappearance of this child. Only thing I'm curious about is why now be leery about speaking? Because you opened Pandora's box when you went to Facebook. And this is why they tell you have to be careful about going live. You're entitled to say what you want on your Facebook page, whomever, it's your page, say what you want. But it doesn't mean it's going to be well received. And you've been basically inviting strangers into your personal life and your business. You invited people to come to the house to pray with you, but hey, I don't want to talk about Quentin. You've invited people to come into your inboxes, but hey, I don't want to talk about Quentin. You set yourself up for failure. You set yourself up for busybodies. You set yourself up for fake friends. Because you keep going live and you keep talking and you keep telling people, sorry, I can't get to all your messages and answer all your questions. Well, then what are you answering? Because you just said, I don't want to talk about Quentin. I don't think I should be talking about Quentin. You can call me and talk to me about anything, message me about anything, but I don't want to talk about Quentin. But do I believe that at this point? Because I don't know what you're talking about in your messenger. I don't know what you're talking about in your voicemails and messaging on your regular phone line. But I do know that when they arrest this heifer and it goes to trial, everything you've done and said to these people, other people on Facebook, Messenger, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever, it's going to be used against you in court, ma'am. This is why they tell you not to go to social media talking, because whatever you say and do will be used against you. Your past is going to be used against you. People are going to come out and tell things about you in favor or against you. That is why you don't talk about things to people when there's a crime. It's best just don't say nothing, because you don't know who's going to go stand up on the witness stand to refute anything that you said via text, via Facebook, via Messenger. It's just common sense. Now, all of a sudden, we're 3 weeks in, you don't want to talk to the news. And I'm curious to why. Why not? You've been talking. You weren't about your safety. You weren't worried about your safety 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. You weren't worried when Billy Joe ran in your house. She could have hit you, pushed you down. They could have done something to your cars, your house, set your house on fire, set your cars on fire, slit your tires, follow you around. How is it you weren't afraid then, but you are now? I'm just asking. That's strange to me, because I would have feared her when she ran up in my damn house, because that showed me she didn't give a fuck, and she didn't mind just barging in my house. I didn't invite her, just ran in there. Then she's wrangling with my child, trying to grab the phone from my child. And what I do find strange is you stood your ass in that doorway. You didn't even go up to her when she was trying to take the phone from your kid. Let me tell you something about the queen. We would have rolled outside, because I'd have whooped her ass. Now, it was one thing you didn't do nothing to her in that damn house. But when she approached your daughter and touched her and tried to grab that phone, your big ass was supposed to left up out that door. And you supposed to went over there and handle Billy Joe. And I don't think nobody would have arrested you for protecting your house to your child, because that was a child. Just like she's hollering and screaming about Quentin. Well, that was a child that was filming. And you should have got your ass up out that door and handled her. You see, Billy Joe's a bully, and she knows who to accost and who not to. And she did that because she didn't think you were going to do nothing. And you didn't. And some may think I'm being mean, but I'm not. I'm just calling a spade a spade. When she approached her daughter in that yard, you should have ran up on Billy Joe and grabbed that bitch by her hair and told her, don't you ever put your hands on my child. Not now, not never. And then Billy Joe would have seen you meant business. Because you see, I don't trust anybody down there. Just like I don't trust the people in Tennessee. To me, they're all the same. You don't know these people well, but you've gotten a glimpse of what they are about. And if people are involved in larceny, fraud, prostitution, stealing, now murder, covering for a murder, hell yeah, you should be afraid to live down the street from them. Because they know people. And they don't have to commit the act themselves. They could pay somebody to do something to you and your family, your children. They could mention it, and it gets done for free. That's my message today. It's that you open Pandora's box, and now you're trying to quietly close it, and it's too late. The people have shown you what they're made of. They're off the chain. They have no respect for people. They have no respect for children. You realized this when you dealt with Billy Joe. She never cared about those kids. She signed papers and still stayed out of town to work. That showed you right there. She had no respect and no intent to ever take care of any of the 3 kids. 2, Leilani and the boyfriend showed you they didn't care about the kids by leaving them there with you even on the days they didn't have to work. Not bringing the children prepared with food, formula, diapers. Whatever negativity you heard about them, their past records, blah, blah, blah. The evidence was there all along. But you continued to deal with them because you said you cared for the children. But sometimes you have to know when to fold because everybody's not your friend. In this case is a prime example. They never had respect for you. And in the end, they have all turned on you because Leilani has now implicated you as being able to come into the house and get the children out. Is that true? Did you have a key to their house? You have yet to respond to that allegation. And I'm asking myself, why? Why have you not responded? Because you've been talking thus far, I would definitely clear that up. No, I've never gone in their house without being invited. No, I've never gone in their house and taken the children out without their knowledge, without their consent. No, I do not have a key to their house. I would have cleared that up as soon as that message went to Michael to YouTube. What do you have to lose at this point? Nothing. Because you've already opened Pandora's box, as I've said. These people never valued you. That's why it was easy for them to run up in your house, disrespect you, and then the daughter implicates you as having access to their house and their children. She's also done it with her baby daddies, implicating them. Leilani doesn't give a fuck about anybody, nor does Billy Joe. And she learned these ways from Billy Joe. And sadly, you got yourself wrapped up with these heathens. And I don't trust any of them. I don't care about the interview that was done on Monday. I don't care about them sending Michael to YouTube. I don't care about them blubbering in the background, pretending they care for the child, moaning and crying, getting drunk, turned up. All these are antics for attention. And that's the one thing I've said in my lives pertaining to the people down there harassing them. You're giving them what they want. You're down there for self-serving purposes, and they're coming back out into the driveway, cussing, fussing, hollering, screaming, blubbering to appease to some lonely person out there that will say, oh, I feel sorry for them. Maybe she didn't kill her kid. Maybe somebody else did do it. That's what they want. If they can get one person to sympathize, they've done their job. This is why you don't go over there messing with them, harassing them, because you're going to help aid their case, whether they killed the child or not. Aided the child, somebody killing the child, you're helping fuel the attention that they so desperately want. And you don't give the devil what he wants. He's a user. And he's been using all of you in this dirty game. And as someone said in the chat about the case in Waukesha, there are no winners. And it's the same for this situation here. There are no winners. Because you have a dysfunctional family. You have a torn up babysitter. You have a broke up community. You have 2 children in foster care. And you have a baby dead. Where are the winners? There are none. I don't know who else will reach out to you, Miss Mccarta, to speak to you, Court TV, Law and Crime, whomever. Be your choice if you decide you want to do an on-camera interview or via video messenger or indisposed. But the cat is out of the bag now. There is no going back. Because you've already gone to Facebook Live and given your rendition of that fateful morning and your dealings with these people. And I'm sure they do not like you at this point. That's to be expected. But you can't go back now. All you can do is press forward and do the best you can by trying to survive and take care of yourself and your family and keep them safe. And I pray that nothing bad happens to you because you talk to Facebook. There is one clip of you on the news talking. And then you did this commentary with the news reporter, but just not on film. Excuse me. But nonetheless, you have spoken via social media and the news. So they have heard you and seen you. And then one would wonder, and I'm going to say this honestly to you, will you also be the same person that will gravitate to YouTube? Will you somehow decide to start a YouTube channel? Because we've seen this in true cases pertaining to Summer Wells. And we see the temptation is great for people to speak and talk, whether the motive is genuine or not. And naturally, no one is going to admit they are getting some type of jolly from talking to people in the public about a child's death or a child missing. But some will possibly judge you that way when you begin to talk, and God forbid, make a social media platform. I hope for your sake not. Because then we will question how much you really care for the children and if you are genuine as you say you are. And I'm not here to throw any stones at you. I'm just curious to why you decided not to talk to the news. Because I did find that odd, considering you had already talked to them before. And you did show your face. And you have been on Facebook talking where people could see you. I do not know if you've been threatened, if anyone's threatened you at the house or in public or via messaging, but I'm sure you have enough sense to take that information to the authorities as to preserve your safety and make sure these people are being watched. And I've got a funky feeling law officials, FBI, are watching them closely. Because for those who think they want to just let this get swept under the rug, I do not believe that. I believe there will be justice. And they want to make sure to keep an eye on Leilani Simon because she's the prime suspect of the death of a child. And they do not want anything to happen to her as so she can not avoid standing trial and account for the death of her child. And many of us believe it's murder. And as I said, using the word accident is disrespectful to the dead. Because one, we were not there. And two, there's no reason to discard a body because a child had an accident. I just got information before going live that Billy Joel has revealed to the public something about the child drowning in a bathtub. That is by the Daily Mail. I will go live later to recap everything that's been said and done pertaining to this case, because today marks 3 weeks that Quentin Simon went missing in Savannah, Georgia. Call went into the dispatch before 10 a.m. by the mother, Leilani Simon, that her child was allegedly missing. And we've come now, fast forward, that Ellie deems her the suspect and that the child was discarded in a dumpster to later be in a landfill. Some of you do not believe he's there. I don't know why. Because when you say that, you're basically saying that law enforcement got it wrong and that what they have is wrong. And what they have is not evidentiary. And I'm trying to figure out, if you don't know what the evidence is, if you don't know what they have against Leilani, how can you say he's not in the landfill? So basically you're saying that the police are liars. And I don't think that's fair to them. Because by law, they do not have to tell you what they have against Leilani Simon. Same as with the Department of Human Services. They do not have to divulge to you anything about a case, any accusations, allegations, phone calls, as to preserve an investigation, be it old, new, or open. I have faith that he will be found. I have faith they know what they're doing, and I have faith they will follow through, because I'm not going to claim anything negative pertaining to Quentin Simon. If you speak it, then it shall be so. That's in Psalms. And I know they're going to find him. And I will not listen to any rhetoric about the marsh, the swamp, any of that, because that's not where they told you he was. And they didn't tell you they had evidence that he was in the river, the lake, the ocean. So why would I believe that? You entitled to your opinion. You entitled to think they put the body somewhere else and they put the clothes in the damn dumpster. Well, when you're dealing with a junkie and they are what they are, rarely will they do all of that to conceal a body. I'm throwing the whole baby away and I'm done with it. I ain't about to run around the city dumping shoes here, clothes there, body over here. I'm dumping the whole damn baby. Because I'm trying to get rid of him and get on back to 535 Buckhalter Road. How about that? See, you're thinking with your own mind. That's allegedly rational. You can't think for a killer because you're not a killer or a killer yet. So therefore, you can't say what Leilani did with the body. You can't say how she killed him. You can't say it was an accident. You can't say who helped, didn't help. Because you're not Leilani Simon. And you're not in her mind. You can only assume what you think happened to the baby. But if the law tells you they have proof he's in that damn landfill, why can't you accept that? I refuse to believe they would send people from around the country to Savannah, Georgia to put on hazmat suits for 2 weeks to go in a landfill for nothing. That makes no damn sense. If I told you that the door was open from 2 to 5 and later she sends a messenger to YouTube to change the time by 40 minutes, where the hell do you think I got the information from? The same place that told you the damn baby is in the landfill. How about that? Thank you for joining me. God is good. Prayers for Quentin Simon, that he will be recovered out of this landfill and justice will be served. If you'd like to donate to this great network, Everyday Shenanigans, $DeGanji, 129, Cash App. Please go to my community page for all said posts of Terrell Brooks, Debbie Collier, Leilani Simon. Please take the post. I will reveal the results on the last live for the evening. Please check out my videos pertaining to the dump sites that are alleged. I believe it's dumpster number 1 sitting in the front of the property. If I'm wrong, it ain't no big deal. But as I said, when you're a killer, you want to get in, you want to get out. Stay woke. If you see something, say something. Be a part of the solution, not the problem. Mind the children. All it takes is one phone call to save a life. Please don't let these stories end up like Quentin Simon, Summer Wells and her brothers, the Cal City boys. All somebody had to do was call. All somebody had to do was send a letter. All somebody had to do was email. All somebody had to do was stay on the horn. That's all you had to do. I'll see you all later this evening for the last live of the evening. Will be pertaining to 3 weeks when Simon has been missing and deemed deceased in a landfill. Will he be recovered? I think so. And I will also bring you information from the Daily Mail pertaining to this bathtub saga. Is it true? I don't really care. I don't really care because it means nothing to me. If the baby did drown, there's no excuse for throwing him away in a damn trash bin. So the drowning theory to me is null and void. Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. God bless you.